to be chanting the holy name of your Lordship. These chanters must have bathed at holy places, pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Purport. As it is stated in the previous verse, a person who has once offenselessly chanted the holy name of God immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. I will highlight this a little bit. The performance of Vedic sacrifices requires the knowledge of Vedic scriptures and the purity of heart, which is found only amongst the Brahmanas, but who are really exalted Brahmanas, who really have a very high level of Vedic knowledge and also realization. We hear that they were so powerful at the time that they would ignite fire just by pronouncing mantras, and by their well wishes wonders could happen. So only these highly exalted beings could perform Vedic sacrifices. But here it says, if you have chanted once without offense the holy name, you are on that level. So Prabhupada says one should not be astonished by this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not disbelieve or think, how? By chanting the holy name of the Lord, can one become a holy man? To be compared to the most elevated Brahmana? How is this? No, this doubt shouldn't be there. To eradicate such doubts in the minds of unbelievers, this verse affirms that the stage of chanting of the holy name of the Lord is not sudden, but that the chanters have already performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and sacrifices. It is not very astounding, for no one in this life can chant the holy name of the Lord unless he has passed all lower stages, such as performing the Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, studying the Vedas, and practicing good behavior like that of the Aryans. All this must first have been done. Just as the student in a law class is to be understood to have already graduated from general education, anyone who's engaged in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, must have already passed all lower stages. It is said that those who simply chant the holy name with the tip of the tongue are glorious. One does not even have to chant the holy name and understand the whole procedure, namely the offensive stage, the offenseless stage, and pure stage. If the holy name is sounded on the tip of the tongue, that is also sufficient. It is said herein that Nama, a singular name, one name, Krishna, Krishna, or Rama, Rama, is sufficient. It is not that one has to chant all the holy names of the Lord. The holy names of the Lord are innumerable, and one does not have to chant all the names to prove that he has already undergone all the processes of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Divane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Tasyatyadi Shakarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. During this Kirtan mela, we want to achieve a meal. The word mela comes from the Sanskrit root meal. Meal means not a meal like breakfast meal. So meal, M-I-L, means to meet. In the Kirtan mela, the devotees want to meet Krishna in the most merciful form of the holy name, and also they want to meet each other as worshippers of Krishna. This is the idea of the mela, a meeting between the individual soul and God, and the meeting of the lovers of God, of the worshippers of God, the chanters amongst themselves. That's the idea of mela, a meeting, a festival, a great gathering, a great meeting takes place. So in this meeting, something happens which is very, very special. When Kirtan is done, then it is Rupa Goswami said, you need to know how to do Kirtan. Kirtan is defined as loudly giving voice to the glories of the Lord, beginning with the names. So therefore sometimes the Kirtaniers will say, chant a little bit louder, because Kirtan is this activity where you give voice, you very loudly, from the depths of your heart, you glorify the Lord. This is the idea of Kirtan. The idea of Kirtan is not just to sing, it is to glorify the Lord loudly. The Lord is to be glorified because He is so beautiful, He has so much Shakti, so much energies. Yes, He performs extraordinary pastimes, which only the Lord does, no one else. In this way, Jiva Goswami says why we should glorify Him. There's something to glorify. It's not vain glories. Like when we meet a human being and we say, oh, today you look so beautiful. It is really an overstatement, because it is not deeply beautiful, just if you only skin deep, behind the skin, oh, not so beautiful. But when you see Krishna, you say, oh, Krishna is so beautiful. Everything of him. When you go through him, it is beautiful. Even his saliva is beautiful because it goes in the prashad and it makes it spiritual and very, very, very worshipable by the best of human beings. Krishna is beautiful throughout. His body is Sachit Ananda. It is out of bliss and full of knowledge and full of eternity. Very, very, very extraordinary. He is to be glorified. Now, if you glorify the Lord like this, you have contact with the Lord, and in the contact of the Lord, something, a transformation happens, which this verse of the Bhagavatam talks about. This verse of the Bhagavatam talks about low-class people born in the family of dog eaters. I don't know if you can imagine, if you eat 25 years dog flesh, your cells are very doggishly informed. Your brain is most probably, you are what you eat, and you have a little, your facial feature. You can see it in Germany, people who keep shepherds and other dogs, and as they grow older, their faces transform and look a little bit the way their darlings look. You can see there are professional studies of this, how in the association of anything, it does not just mean dogs, or also husband and wife, if they stay together for so long, they begin to look alike and have similar manners. There are psychological studies like this. So imagine a dog eater, he's surrounded with dogs, he even eats them, and so on. He doesn't vibrate on a high level, You can visit such places where this is done in India. There are areas in Delhi where you can go, and I encourage you, but don't go after when the sun is down. And see, it is something to be seen. But here it is said that by chanting the names, a transformation takes place. A very amazing transformation, which is addressed by Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami talks about, gives the verse, he says, those who chant, they become actually advanced and they achieve very high levels of spiritual transformation. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtana from Kirtana. Yathanurago druta chitta uchai. Chitta means the consciousness changes. Something comes in the consciousness, which we saw yesterday with our Maharaj. He had left the Kirtan, most probably he had sung all the way, and he was very blissful when he entered the guest house and chanted. It is the chitta, the deep, deep place of the consciousness which we want to transform, has been reached by the holy name. And I know this is not an isolated case. Many of you experience this. So Sridhar Swami says, this goal of all spiritual life, that the chitta is transformed, and that there's really a transformation from Heinz Meyer to Hansa Duta. This very, very deep transformation is very the goal of spiritual life. And Sridhar Swami puts a doubt before this. How is it possible? He says, one could argue that this very high state, that the consciousness gets, the chitta means the core of the consciousness. Tsilge Jung would say the subconscious mind, but it's more than even that. The chitta is transformed. This is rarely attained, one could say, by even those who have attained perfection in yoga, even after many lifetimes of practice. So how can this stage be reached in one birth merely by singing the names of the Lord. Do you find this doubt a good doubt? Oh, you're sleeping, so I'm fine. This is a very good doubt. It is a very reasonable doubt. It's a doubt which we should also apply to ourselves. How much have you changed? Are you still Heinz Meyer? Inside? I know outside you have a shaved head and a tila. We are talking now of the chitta, the deep consciousness. Is that really changed? So this doubt is raised by Sridhar Swami. I think it is a doubt which all of us had at times, and those who analyze the success stories in the Hare Krishna movement have also this doubt. So Sridhar Swami gives a very, very interesting solution to this doubt. He says that this is a gradual attainment for someone who takes shelter of the Lord. He gives an example from eating. When you eat, when you have a plate of prasadam before you, you are really very fortunate. This means the end of your hunger story has arrived. But this result will come gradually, bite by bite, as you eat. You have to continue eating. Otherwise, you will still be hungry. So he gives this, he says, those who chant continuously in this life by taking shelter of the required of the Lord, they will make this experience. He gives